In this video, we're going to be looking at solving linear equations when there are fractions involved. So let's take a look at our first example. We have 1/4 x equals 1/4 plus 1/10 plus 1/20. Now there's different ways to approach this, but one thing you can do is come up with a least common denominator. Since there's only one fraction on the left, I'm just going to go ahead and leave that alone. But if you wanted to change the denominator to what you had on the right, you could do that as well. I see that the least common denominator for 4, 10, and 20 is going to be 20. So the fraction 1/4, if I want a 20 on the bottom, that means I had to multiply 4 by 5. So since I had to do it to the bottom, I have to do it to the top as well. For the second fraction, if I want this denominator to be a 20, I have to multiply by 2. So I'm going to multiply my numerator by 2. And then for our final fraction, it already is 20 on the bottom, so I don't have to change anything about that fraction. Now that we have a common denominator, we can add them together. 5 plus 2 plus 1 is 8, divided by 20. We could simplify this if we wanted to. 8 divided by 20, that's the same thing as 4 times 2 divided by 4 times 5, and our 4's would cancel. So we have 1/4 x equals 2 over 5. And our goal is to get x by itself. Another way that we could write this is x over 4 equals 2 divided by 5. We see that x is divided by 4. If we wanted to undo this, we would multiply it by 4. And since we multiplied it by 4 on the left, we have to multiply by 4 on the right. The 4's cancel here. We get x equals 8 divided by 5. Let's look at a second example. So in this case, what I'm going to show you is something called clearing the denominators. And when you're clearing the denominators, what you want to do is multiply your entire equation by each of the individual denominators. So I'm going to multiply by 3 because of this denominator here. And then I'm going to multiply by 2 because of our second denominator. Now we've already multiplied by 3, so we don't have to do it again. Although you could, it wouldn't change the outcome of the problem. 3 times 2, that is 6. So essentially we're multiplying this entire equation by 6. 1/3 x times 6 is 6 over 3x. 1/2 x times 6 is 6 over 2x. 20 times 6, let's just leave it like that, divided by 3. And the reason why is we can cancel that 3. And this 6 becomes a 2. Okay, oops, I forgot my plus sign. 6 divided by 3, that's 2x. 6 divided by 2, that's 3x. So we get 3x equals 20 times 2, which is 40. 5x equals 40. Final step, we need to divide by 5 on both sides to get x equals 8.